You think you understand emotional intelligence. You've read the articles, maybe taken a quiz online, and agreed that it's about being good with people or controlling your emotions. But what if I told you that most people misunderstand it entirely? That emotional intelligence isn't just a soft skill, it's the ultimate form of self-mastery. And the reason it's so rare is that the true version of it requires you to confront things you've been avoiding your whole life. The moment you grasp this, you'll realize emotional intelligence isn't just about relationships. It's about unlocking a hidden advantage in every part of your existence. Think about the last time you got frustrated. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic. Maybe your boss sent you an email with a tone you didn't like. What happened in your mind? Did you immediately justify your irritation? Did you replay the scenario in your head, searching for more reasons to be upset? Emotional intelligence begins the moment you notice that chain reaction. Most people think self-awareness is just knowing what they feel. But the real skill is catching the moment before the feeling takes over and choosing a different path. Here's the first hack. Name it to tame it. Neuroscience shows that when you label an emotion, literally putting it into words, you shift brain activity from the amygdala, the fear and emotion center, to the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reasoning and decision-making. Instead of "I'm losing my mind," you tell yourself, "I'm feeling frustrated." That single sentence changes your relationship with the feeling. You're no longer drowning in it, you're observing it. And when you observe, you gain control. The second hack is learning the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is instinctive, it's fast, emotional, and often messy. Responding is deliberate, it's slow, thoughtful, and calculated. The space between the two is where your emotional intelligence lives. Train yourself to expand that space. The next time you feel provoked, don't answer right away. Count to 5. Take a breath. Even better, take a walk. You'll be shocked how often the urgent reply you were about to send no longer feels necessary. But emotional intelligence isn't just about managing your own emotions. It's about decoding others. Here's the third hack. Listen for what's not being said. Most communication is nonverbal. The words might say, "I'm fine," but the tight jaw, the downcast eyes, or the pause before speaking tell another story. When you train yourself to notice tone, body language, and pacing, you start to read the emotional truth beneath the surface. And once you can do that, you gain influence, not through manipulation, but through genuine connection. Here's where it gets tricky. Emotional intelligence also means resisting the urge to fix everything. Many people think being emotionally intelligent means always offering solutions. But sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is hold space. That means being fully present without rushing to solve, minimize, or redirect the other person's feelings. Just listen. Just be there. This is excruciating for most people because it feels passive. But in reality, it's one of the most active forms of emotional engagement because it communicates without words. You are safe to feel what you feel. Another hack that almost no one talks about is emotional granularity. It's the ability to distinguish between similar emotions instead of lumping them together. For example, sadness isn't just sadness. It can be disappointment, grief, loneliness, or fatigue. Anger isn't just anger. It can be irritation, resentment, or righteous indignation. The more precise your vocabulary, the more precisely you can deal with the emotion. Saying, "I'm anxious," is vague. Saying, "I'm nervous because I'm unprepared," gives you a direct path to resolution. You can't solve what you can't name clearly. And then there's the subtle art of emotional reframing. This isn't toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about shifting the perspective just enough to create possibility. Let's say you made a mistake at work. Instead of telling yourself, "I'm terrible at this," you say, "This is a learning curve, and now I know what to avoid next time." You're not lying to yourself. You're choosing a frame that keeps you moving forward instead of spiraling downward. Emotional reframing is how you break the habit of catastrophizing. But here's something most people miss. Emotional intelligence is also about knowing your emotional triggers so well that they stop owning you. Think about it. Everyone has patterns. Certain comments, situations, or people set them off. The hack is to map them. Keep a journal for 1 week. Every time you feel a strong negative emotion, jot down the situation, the trigger, and your reaction. Patterns will emerge quickly. Once you see the pattern, you can prepare for it. You're no longer walking into traps blind. You're anticipating them. The next hack is deceptively simple. Practice emotional detachment from outcomes. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop tying your self-worth to whether something goes your way. People who master this are unshakable. They still work hard, still hope for the best, but they understand that their value isn't defined by external wins or losses. When you stop making your peace of mind conditional, you become impossible to destabilize. Closely related is the skill of self-regulation through sensory grounding. This is a lifeline during emotional overwhelm. You pick one sensory anchor, like feeling your feet on the ground, noticing the temperature of the air on your skin, or focusing on a single sound in the room. You give your mind a physical point of focus, pulling it out of the spiral of thought and back into the present. Athletes, performers, and leaders use this all the time to stay calm under pressure. One of the most underrated emotional intelligence hacks is asking better questions, both to yourself and to others. Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Instead of, "What's wrong with them?" you ask, "What might they be going through that I can't see?" These shifts take you out of blame mode and into curiosity mode, which is where real problem-solving lives. Curiosity dissolves defensiveness, both in you and in the people you're dealing with. There's also the practice of emotional forecasting. This is anticipating how you're likely to feel in a future situation and planning accordingly. If you know family gatherings make you tense, plan your exit strategy before you go. If you know public speaking will make you nervous, prepare a calming ritual in advance. Emotional forecasting doesn't eliminate discomfort, but it prevents you from being blindsided by it. And here's a big one, separating your feelings from your identity. Too many people say, "I am angry," or "I am anxious," without realizing they're merging themselves with the emotion. Try saying, "I'm experiencing anger," or "I'm feeling anxiety right now." It creates a gap between you and the emotion. You're not the storm, you're the sky the storm passes through. This simple shift is a cornerstone of emotional resilience. Finally, remember that emotional intelligence isn't built in moments of crisis. It's built in the small, everyday choices. Every time you pause before replying, every time you label an emotion, every time you listen without judgment, you're rewiring your brain. And the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes, until one day You realize you've stopped being pulled into emotional chaos and you've started being the calm in the room. Another powerful emotional intelligence hack is learning how to release emotions physically before they take root mentally. Too often, we try to think our way out of a feeling, but emotions are stored in the body. When you're stressed, your shoulders tighten. When you're anxious, your breath becomes shallow. By moving your body through stretching, shaking out your hands, walking, or even dancing, you release the tension that feeds the mental loop. Think of it like opening a pressure valve before the system overheats. The more you integrate small physical resets into your day, the less chance emotions have to build into storms. Then, there's the principle of emotional reciprocity. We unconsciously mirror the emotions of those around us. If you stay grounded, you can influence the entire emotional temperature of a room. This means being intentional about the energy you bring into interactions. If you arrive calm, curious, and open, you create a field that invites others to match that state. It's subtle, but over time, it changes relationships. People begin to feel better simply by being around you, not because you fixed them, but because you modeled stability. A crucial but overlooked hack is learning to distinguish between empathy and over-identification. Empathy allows you to understand and feel with someone. Over-identification means you absorb their emotions until you're overwhelmed. Emotional intelligence means you can feel compassion without losing your center. When you notice you're taking on too much, visualize a boundary, like a clear shield, between you and the other person. You can care deeply without drowning in their experience. One of the most transformative skills you can build is emotional time travel. This is the ability to mentally step into your future self, 1 month, 1 year, even 10 years from now, and ask, how would that version of me handle this? It pulls you out of reactive mode and into a wiser perspective. Often, the problems that feel massive in the moment shrink when seen from a distance. This isn't avoidance, it's perspective engineering. Here's another: practice emotional economy. Not every feeling needs to be expressed immediately or to everyone. Emotional intelligence is knowing when to speak and when to let a feeling pass on its own. Venting can feel satisfying in the moment, but it also cements the emotion. Sometimes, silence is the most powerful form of processing. If a conversation won't serve the relationship or your peace, you can choose to hold it. Let's talk about the hack of recentering through micro-rituals. This could be as simple as touching a pendant you wear, sipping water slowly, or repeating a calming phrase. These rituals become anchors you can return to in moments of emotional turbulence. The more you associate the ritual with calm, the more quickly it brings you back there. Over time, these small habits become part of your emotional immune system. A subtle but life-changing habit is to regularly check your emotional posture. Just as physical posture affects your body, emotional posture shapes your mind. Are you approaching situations with defensiveness or with openness? Are your shoulders, metaphorically, and pulled tight, or are you relaxed enough to respond wisely? Correcting your emotional posture in real time can prevent an entire cascade of unnecessary conflict. Another hack: detach from the need to win every argument. Emotional intelligence is recognizing that sometimes preserving peace is more valuable than proving a point. This doesn't mean you let yourself be walked over. It means you measure whether the victory is worth the cost. If winning will damage trust or connection, the smarter move might be to let it go. Here's a rare one: practicing gratitude during conflict. It might sound impossible, but in the heat of an argument, mentally acknowledging one thing you appreciate about the other person shifts the emotional dynamic instantly. It stops your brain from going into full threat mode and reminds you that the relationship is bigger than the disagreement. You can also strengthen emotional intelligence by tracking your emotional nutrition. Just like your body reacts to what you eat, your mind reacts to what it consumes: news, social media, conversations. Pay attention to the inputs that consistently make you anxious, resentful, or hopeless, and limit them. Replace them with inputs that make you curious, inspired, and grounded. Emotional health is built as much by what you exclude as by what you add. One more advanced hack is emotional substitution. When you notice a destructive emotion rising, say jealousy, you consciously replace it with a more constructive one, like admiration. Instead of thinking, "Why do they have that and I don't?" you think, "It's inspiring to see what's possible." This isn't pretending. It's training your brain to build new default responses. Over time, your emotional reflexes become more empowering. And never underestimate the power of asking for feedback on your emotional impact. We all have blind spots. Trusted friends, mentors, or partners can help you see how your tone, expressions, or reactions come across. Emotional intelligence grows fastest when you're willing to see yourself through others' eyes. Finally, understand this truth: emotional intelligence isn't about never feeling negative emotions. It's about mastering the flow between feeling, understanding, and acting. It's knowing when to step back, when to lean in, and when to let go. The more you practice, the more you realize that emotional intelligence is less about controlling the world around you and more about mastering the world within you. So, which of these emotional intelligence hacks are you going to try first? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what resonates with you most. And remember, every small step in mastering your emotions brings you closer to the life you want. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and keep building the kind of mind that can handle anything life throws at it.